Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the I Played the Blank Game for Blank Hour series. This is the series where I play a game for however long it takes, and then I report back to you all. Today, we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is a game that I played multiple times. It came out in 2018, and I played it when it released and then again during the pandemic. But both times, I was kind of just rushing through it, and it didn't really stick. This time, though, the game definitely stuck with me. I feel like I got a lot more out of it on this third playthrough than I did on the first two. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was a ton of fun to revisit, and so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your spoiler warning. I'm going to spoil the events of Shadow of the Tomb Raider here. I'm not going to go into a full-blown story analysis. I'm not going to get into the ending, really. But there are events along the way that I will be spoiling. So, if you don't want anything spoiled for you, go play the game, then come back and watch the video. But with that out of the way, proceed as you see fit. Okay, in my mind, when I think about Tomb Raider, the comparison with the Uncharted games is undeniable. Now, obviously, Tomb Raider is older than the Uncharted games, but contemporarily, these games were coming out around the same time, and they're pretty similar. They're third-person action-adventure games where you're hunting treasure as a action hero. So, the comparisons are undeniable. However, the more I played Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the more I realized that these games are not as similar as I thought they would be. Nathan Drake is a lovable action hero. You know, he's so charismatic. The people around him just flock to him. He is such a magnet in the Uncharted games. And he's seen as this, like, little bit of a bumbling idiot, but just like a real lovable character. However, he is out here murdering countless individuals. Now, I'm not saying the mercs don't deserve it. You know, they're trying to kill him as well. But there's just this disconnect for me on what Nathan Drake is actually doing and how those around him are perceiving him. Lara, on the other hand, is still an action hero, but she is painted with a much darker stroke. Lara Croft is not someone who I would say is incredibly charismatic, especially not in these games. She is more of a recluse and is really just focused on her own mission and doesn't really care too much about those around her. Like, obviously, she grows to care more deeply about the people of Paititi, and obviously Jonah is always close to her heart. But really, she's focused on her main goal here, and she's not so worried about how those around her are perceiving her. So I would say a good analogy for this is Nathan Drake is more like Marvel MCU type of character. There's just this candy-coated veneer on the game, whereas the Tomb Raider games, especially Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, are a lot darker. So I would say they're more like a DC type character. Now, I personally love the darker take on this classic treasure hunting game. It feels more authentic to me. Obviously, if you're running around in ancient tombs trying to find treasure, like, bad stuff is probably going to happen, or maybe not even bad stuff, but it's going to be dangerous. You're out in these harsh environments, you know, it's not going to be a weekend at the Ritz-Carlton. It's going to be difficult. And so I think this is a more accurate may not be the right word, but I prefer this take on the classic treasure hunting game. Now, I do love Uncharted. I don't want that to be twisted. I'm not saying Tomb Raider is better than Uncharted, but I enjoyed this take on the game. Now, this game is beautiful, but there are some really dark events that occur. In Paititi, we see the cultists engaging in human sacrifice. We don't just see the aftermath of this sacrifice, we actually witness the act. And it is visceral, and it is bloody, and so it's a lot to take in. There are also large-scale natural disasters in the game. I mean, the one that obviously comes to mind is the tsunami in Cozumel. This set piece is just incredible. I mean, I was blown away the first time I played this, and it is aged incredibly well. You're running through the streets of Cozumel as the street is washing away under you, and just to give you a little indication on the darker nature of this game, there's this one part where you get to a ledge and there's a child hanging on a pipe, and Lara's getting closer and closer to the child, And in my head, I was thinking, well, she's obviously going to save him. Like, she's an action hero, you know? Well, before you can even get to the kid, he just falls into the rapids and is just gone. That's when I knew, like, okay, this game is not pulling its punches. There is death around every corner, and the violence is going to be absolutely visceral. There's also this question of whether or not Lara is at fault for these large-scale disasters. Lara enters a tomb in Cozumel, takes an artifact, and right after the earthquake happens that causes the big tsunami. So obviously, there are a couple dots here that we can make a line out of. However, Lara is incredibly self-centered. She is only focused on her goal. She's got to stop Trinity. She's got to uphold her father's legacy. There's all these things weighing on her that she is focused on achieving. Lara believes that she is the cause of the calamities, and not without good reason, of course. She did take the artifact, and then the tsunami happened right after. But Jonah brings up this question to her, like, how do you know you caused this? You're not the center of the universe. This may not be your fault. Like, why are you immediately thinking that you are the cause here? And this was such a fascinating thing. It's a little bit fourth wall breaking, but it's something that I hadn't really considered. Like, obviously, spoiler, Lara Croft is the center of this universe. She's the main character, but it's cool for one of the characters to be like, hey, you're just a normal person. It's not all about you. Like, maybe you didn't cause this. Let's see what we can do to fix it. So again, little fourth wall break here, but it was very interesting. Now, as far as the story goes, this story is much better than I remembered. Lara is attempting to stop the end of the world that she may have caused. Of course, Trinity is involved. Now, the game kind of leads Lara to the hidden city of Paititi. I assumed that the city would be empty because that's how it works in these types of games. You arrive at these ancient ruins and there's no one living in there anymore, and you really have to learn what you can from just what's been left behind by these people. This game does a really good job with environmental storytelling through artifacts and, notes left by previous explorers, etc. But the interesting thing here is when Lara arrives at Paititi, it's fully inhabited. And I thought this was such a fascinating choice and a good choice, because not only is Lara able to learn about the past of Paititi from the artifacts and whatnot that are in the area, but she's also able to just talk to the people and learn what their day-to-day life is like. So she doesn't have to imagine what these people used to live like. She can just see it in front of her. So I thought that was super interesting and a great choice by Square Enix. The story hinges on this family dynamic between Dr. Dominguez, a Trinity scientist, but also a citizen of Paititi, and the current queen of Paititi, Unuratu. The story, like I said, was much better than I remembered because both sides, Unuratu and Dominguez, want the same thing. They want what is best for the people of Paititi. However, their means are different. Dr. Dominguez thinks the best course of action is to remake the world with these incredibly powerful artifacts, and Unuratu does not believe that is the way to go. Now, again, the events of this game are not for the faint of heart. There is so much death and destruction, and it just does not pull punches at all. As we've already mentioned, there's human sacrifice, but also just the environments themselves are incredibly dangerous. This game takes place in Central and South America for the most part. The rainforests are incredibly beautiful in this part of the world, but they're also very dangerous, and this game does a pretty good job at capturing that danger. There's also, these beautiful cerulean waters. Like, the tint of the blue is so good. Like, I don't even know how to describe what the tint is, but it's just very beautiful. But also very dangerous because there are piranhas and eels in here that can kill you. Also, you can just get trapped under the waters and drown. So, very dangerous place. But Lara, at her heart, is an explorer. So, that is where this game really shines. The combat is whatever. The combat is not that great in my opinion. I tried to up the difficulty and it just didn't really help. So the combat is decent, but that's not really where this game shines. The exploration is where this game shines. And Lara is able to explore some really beautiful areas, but again, these areas are dangerous. In these challenge tombs or crypts, there is Trinity to deal with. There's also more environmental dangers. There are always traps in these crypts. And one thing I really love about this game is that if you fall into a spike trap or get hit with a spike trap from the wall, the game is going to show Lara getting impaled to just let you know, like, hey, you messed up here, buddy, and now Lara's dead. So maybe be more careful next time. The exploration is very fun. The way Lara has to navigate through these places by crawling through tight spaces, she uses her wall axes to climb up things. She can throw her axe and swing to the next spot. She can rappel. There's just so many cool little exploration features here. But the one thing you need to understand when Lara is exploring is that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. If there's like a ledge you're looking at where you're like, that looks pretty rickety, it's gonna fall. It's definitely gonna fall when you get there. So just, heads up for that. The exploration is where this game really shines. You have these massive, grand areas that Lara is able to use her tools to navigate and learn more about the world. So I found the exploration to be incredibly fun, but it is very claustrophobic at times. So just a heads up on that. If you're someone who is claustrophobic, this game might pique some of that fear in you, because there's lots of times when Lara is stuck in a tight space and needs to escape quickly. Sometimes she's even underwater and needs to escape these tight spaces quickly. So it really is a claustrophobic game, but the exploration was such a treat. There's lots to explore in this game, but not a lot of fat, which I personally enjoyed. It took me about 30 hours to basically 100% the game. There's still a few artifacts and stuff I need to find, but I've done all the exploring that I really care to do. And that was really refreshing to me. I think games are just getting a little too long sometimes. Don't get me wrong, I love a long story game, but there is still a place for just a tight, concise game. And that is what Shadow of the Tomb Raider is. So I really enjoyed the fact that this game did not take me 60 hours just to beat the main story. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the type of game that I love. This treasure hunty type game that I don't think we really get enough of. I wish we got more of these types of games. And it was so fun for me to revisit this game and for it to actually hit this time. This game has aged very well, in my opinion. Now, the game is not perfect by any means. There were some performance issues I ran into on the PC, but overall, this game was a lot of fun, and it doesn't overstay its welcome, which again is super important. So I wish we got more of these types of games, but if I just have to go revisit Shadow of the Tomb Raider every few years, I will certainly not be mad about that. Thank you all for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, I would of course appreciate it if you would leave a like on this video and also subscribe to my channel. We are rapidly approaching 200 subscribers, and just as a side note, thank you all very much for helping me get closer to this milestone. Now, as you just heard, we only have 200 subscribers, so we're a very small outfit right now. But we have lots of room for some aggressive expansion. So if that is something that you are interested in, subscribe to the channel and you will join the team and not miss any future uploads. However, if you don't care about subscribing, don't want to like the video, that's totally fine. I appreciate the fact that you have watched this video until the end. I hope you all have a beautiful time, and I will see you all in the next one.